Hi guys, the financial report for Nintendo just dropped, and Switch 2 sale numbers generating a lot of noise. Again, a lot of media is calling it the best-selling console of all time. Correctly to say portable, not a console, and all that yada yada. Well, it is funny to me that it doesn't look like there's any knowledge of the math of science is with the people who are saying those things, because if they knew even little of those things, they would knew that in order to compare anything, you have to bring it in the same environment. You cannot just say, hey, Switch 2 is the best-selling console when the gaming market for consoles, portables, whatever you want to call it, way bigger when PS2, PS4, or any other system has launched. So what you have to do actually, you have to bring the market to the same number. It's either market from the past, you're gonna amplify it to the current one, or the current one bring it down to those levels. So obviously the easiest way to bring the older markets to current market and see how would those consoles sell, considering the base at which they sold back then, how would they sell now with the current market. And the numbers are in, and what do we get for that? Obviously the Switch 2 is not the best selling console. And again, this is our very basics of the math, and you learn that in high school. You don't even have to go to college to know those things. So it tells you a lot about credibility of people posting numbers without even understanding them. And at gaming wise, who cares? It's entertainment, but you have to be careful with it. Other people, when they talk about the numbers, and they have no understanding of the numbers. So anyways, if we bring the and again, equation is in the description, you guys can check it, you guys can run it to whatever you want. But again, you compare something, you have to put them in the same room. You can't put one water ball in a bigger room and compare it to other water ball in a completely different room. It's like if you have a ball and you have a small room and you have a big room, you hit it against the wall, it's gonna bounce differently, even if you hit it with the same power and the same angle, because you have more space. Anyways, we're not gonna go into the physics and all that stuff, it's completely irrelevant here. But the funny thing is, so if we bring all the top consoles to the same scale, so let's say the Switch 2, Switch 1, PS2, PS4, and PS5, they all launched this year in June. And hypothetically speaking, again, that's bringing the console market up at the same rate. The Switch 1 would sell 3.5 million units, and 3.1 million units in America, right? In Europe, 1.95, 1.80. Just summarize, it's going to be minus 20% performance from the Switch 2, but I think those numbers are heavily affected by a supply shortage for Switch 1. I think that might be wrong, but as far as I remember, it was people were, hoarding the Switch 1, all the resales, all that bullshit, scalpers. So I think that number is heavily affected. I think the Switch 1 would actually do way better than Switch 2, because Switch 1 was highly anticipated system. I think Switch 2 was that anticipated. I think people just couldn't wait to get upgrade from Switch 1. But anyway, so the king is PS2. PS2 is still number one selling console. If you put it in the same market environment that it is now, performance wise, it's 50% higher than the Switch 2. So yes, PS2 is still the king, no matter what anybody says, because that's how it is. You cannot argue the math. If you want to do the math, you have to do the math and then compare, right? Let's say if the PlayStation would launch at the same time, like let's say PlayStation 6 would launch same time as the Switch 2, right? The same thing we cannot say with the PlayStation 6 when it's going to release that's the best selling console, because we have to put it in the same environment. We're going to have to put all these consoles in the same environment and then compare. That's going to tell us a better picture, right? The second spot is PS4, which is 60%, hypothetically speaking, better than Switch 2. And then PS5 goes minus 10%, but again, PS5 had tremendous shortages at the launch. It was very hard to get for almost 2 years, again, due to the retailers, and I think it's launched now COVID data where there was cheap supplies and stuff, so those numbers also affected that. But if we want to say what is the best, and it's not just consoles, that's anything, that's just math and science, you have to put it in the same environment. So I hope whoever has those media channels, they'll educate themselves a little bit better on how to do the numbers. If they want to talk about numbers, they have to understand the numbers first. So anyways, guys, this is it. Agree or disagree, but that's true. Equation is there. So if there's a different math, please share it in the comments. And yeah, thanks for